Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
Welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we're talking all things Monday Night Raw. But first, I want to bring this up. We've also got some AEW news. Real quick, I want to say this. I want to say thanks to everybody for all the condolences, the well wishes, the hey, Steve, the heart emojis. Got a bunch of subs there on the Twitch in our pre-show, so, you know, more tragedy maybe. Cash in a little bit, Larson. Some of us deal with trauma with comedy.
I understand.
But I honestly, like, this is heartfelt. I appreciate it all. I really do. As many of you probably know, I lost my father 2 nights ago. He passed after a 4-year battle with glioblastoma, which is a son of a bitch version of brain cancer. Not like there's a good version of brain cancer, but so yeah, it's been a tough 48 hours or so. But you know, the bottom line is he's at peace and he's in a better place now. I believe that. And he was our biggest fan. Mm-hmm. He really was. He loved that we took a Raw deal with getting laid off from Machinima and turned it around into something more successful than we had before. He loved that. Mm-hmm. And he's the only person, I believe, to call into our show and break kayfabe and
that's true.
Give everybody defiantly break kayfabe. Which at some point I'm going to clip and put up, and I'll bleep the breaking of kayfabe out. But I was reminded of that, and I'm like, oh my God, that was so funny. Yeah. But anyways, no, I mean, and he knows that this is the thing that I love to do, and it's not just a job to me; it's something that I love to do, and it's my escape from all, you know, the regular shit in the world. And if I didn't do this today, I'd just be sitting around doing nothing. And honestly, probably the only reason I didn't do yesterday is because I had literally been up for like 24 hours. And so, yeah, like I would have been completely useless. So I appreciate you obviously as well.
Absolutely, man.
So now, I mean, how does it feel? Your birthday is also going to be like the saddest day of my year.
I know.
Because your birthday is the day that my dad passed.
It's, you know, a birthday these days for me is just another day, another day on the calendar.
Yeah,
it's not a huge deal.
So,
you know, no problem about yesterday. You know, I'm more than happy to do the show by myself. And you know, you're right. Your dad was endlessly supportive of what we do. As far as I know, he's the only person that put the sticker of our two heads on his car.
Yeah. Whenever I was curious as to whether or not that minivan of, driving down the street was my dad, I'd just look and see if our faces were on it.
Exactly. I'd do the same thing. See a gold minivan driving around. Oh, our faces on there? Nope.
It was gold.
And I'll always remember we used to work in your office where we'd be working. He'd just pop in.
He would just show up.
He'd just pop in. He'd just start talking to us.
He would just show up, with his raggedy camo cargo shorts, and either a Friendo Club shirt or one of my old comic book ones, the Shoot Your TV ones. He would just show up. He would pop in on us because he'd ride his bike over there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, he was a special guy.
He was. He really was. I remember whatever events you guys had at your house, like birthdays or whatever. Both your parents, when we were invited to join, always treated us like family. Yeah. And I'll never forget that. And our hearts go out to you, and our condolences to you and your family. And I tell you this, I've told you this at least half a dozen times. You need anything, I'm here for you, brother. I love you. Okay?
I appreciate it, man. I really do. All right,
anything you need.
Both gonna be a fucking teary mess. We're supposed to be talking about wrestling.
I know. Gosh darn it.
Oh, that got me a little bit. I thought it was okay. Anyways, so let's go ahead and dive into it. AEW, we got some changes coming to All In. Oh my goodness gracious! Wow. So All In. So during today's pre-All In media call, Tony Khan revealed there are likely to be some changes happening with this weekend's All In card, and this is what he said. These transcripts come to you via PW Insider. Oh man, I didn't expect you to go there. Shit.
No, I didn't either. It all hit me at once, man.
No kidding. Oh my God. He said this. He says, On whether anything new will be added to London, Khan said there will be adjustments to the card. Some were planned from the beginning. Some are things that they are dealing with. Cash Wheeler. Rarely do things get put on paper and there are no major changes. He wishes that everything happened in a vacuum and the best ideas on paper got to happen as planned. Sometimes there are injuries and you can blame the company for that. Sometimes there are fluke things because you put people in the ring. Khan said there are going to be changes to the card, not changes he wanted to make, but things that have been necessitated by the real world, not related to professional wrestling. He's working this week to make the card stronger than it had been. There will be some things added and some changes. He said there is some things he didn't think a week or two would have been done, that he can probably discuss them after the show in the scrum, so stay tuned. So what is he changing? What is happening?
I don't know. I mean, he talked about the cash stuff elsewhere in the call, and he was like, "Oh, we're monitoring the situation."
Mm-hmm, yeah,
but he's like, hey, like something about the evidence being inconclusive or something. So it doesn't sound like he's on the precipice of being like, all right, we're gonna have to pull him from the show. It didn't seem that way.
Yeah, right.
There's nothing preventing Cash from traveling there.
Yeah.
So unless Tony Khan views the incident as being an infraction worthy of suspension, fine, whatever the case may be, I doubt he's gonna willingly pull him from the show. Otherwise, I don't know. I mean, like people having visa issues or something. That's the only thing I can really think of.
That could, yeah, that's a possibility. Like, did people have like warrants that they didn't know about before, and they're like, "Oh, boss, by the way, you know,
is this a domino effect where?" Never mind, I'm not gonna get into it.
I want to know now. What were you gonna say?
No, it was just because apparently, like, no one in AEW knew about Cash's thing.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
Because Tony Khan was even like, he hadn't heard about it for a while, which I don't even know what that means either.
For a while?
Like, this is it's a month ago. So I don't know if it was a situation where he never knew of it.
Yeah, did Cash say, hey, Tony, I pulled a gun on a guy while I was driving past him. Yeah. So that might be a thing. So, Khan's like, it's been a while since I heard about that, you know.
Yeah, I know. I thought I remember him mentioning that in the hallway at one point. No, I was going to say now that Cash you just mentioned warrants and stuff, so I was going to make a joke about how Cash this is in the news, he mentioned Tony Khan about it, and now everybody's like, all right, if I have any outstanding legal issues.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's like, all right, I might as well mention them now.
Yeah, let's get them out of the way so that I can make the show.
Yeah, I was going to make a joke about that.
Yeah, that might be, you know. Kenny's like, by the way, I stabbed a guy.
I think the statute of limitations has come up, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, stabbed him 15 years ago in an alleyway.
But I don't know what else it would be.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, who knows? I don't know. So, yeah, I don't know. It's at 9 matches right now.
Yeah.
Including like the 0 hour, I think.
Yeah, so, including MJF and Adam Cole against.
Probably going to have to fucking add another 6 matches to that or something to make it a full AEW card. Oh, yeah, dude. No, it's good. Look, it's solid. You know, honestly, like, let me ask you a question for real.
Sure.
If they had not added MJF Cole to the 0 hour, like, our day would be...
We wouldn't have watched it. No, that's the
our day would be an hour shorter on
it would be, yes.
Sunday.
But that's going to have bearing potentially on the story of the main event of the actual show, so we kind of have to pay attention.
I think it will, yeah. We probably have to watch that one.
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens there. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw with Kevin Owens coming back to do another episode of Judgment Day are falling apart.
Or it's the same thing we've been seeing for weeks.
Yeah.
Like, there hasn't been a whole lot of advancement in this whole idea of Judgment Day. Are they going to fall apart? Are they not? It's just, hey, Finn comes out there, looks like a jackass.
Yeah, right. It looks like an idiot.
Goes and confides to JD,
mm-hmm.
and that angers Priest, and Rhea tells them get their shit together.
Mm-hmm.
Rinse, repeat. That's just the whole thing.
I do appreciate this week, and it is the same thing. It's still there are a lot of it. It's all entertaining. Like, I can watch the Judgment Day do this shit probably a little bit longer, even though I realize completely that it's not advancing anything. But watching Rhea drag Finn Balor out like he's a child,
I know, like she's mom. I know,
is hilarious. Watching Dominic watch his new parents kind of fight. and he has to be stuck, and his character stuff is really good at this point.
It is.
You know, when Rhea's like mad and she stomps off, and he looks over at Dom or at Priest, and I don't know what he said in Espanol, but it was basically like, oof, I've never seen Mommy. It seemed like, oh, Mommy's kind of mad right now, and he sort of makes a look on his face. It's awesomely entertaining. I mean. Let me ask you this. Okay, so yeah, Maggie says he said she's really mad now. Yeah, that's sort of what I gathered from it. That's what I love about it. But you know, Cody referring to JD as a Funko Pop.
Yeah,
that's kind of that. Let me ask you: is that out of line? Like, because it really like is pointing out the comedically absurd with how big his head is. And so it's like, do you go there with him? It sort of makes him look like it makes JD look even worse, right?
It does, but it's like I would assume, I could be wrong, given this is twice in a couple of weeks there's been a reference to his giant head.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
like he's well aware that he has a giant head,
right? Yeah,
and is willing to kind of laugh at the fact that his head is pretty large in comparison to the rest of his body.
So I know we've only really been exposed to JD McDonough sort of in character. So it's hard to say about this. But given like how, for example, Kevin Owens seems to hate him for reals.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if any element of Jordan Devlin is a guy who's okay laughing at his own giant head. I kind of feel like he's probably not. And maybe people are just trolling the shit out of this guy. I don't know.
And he can't do shit about it because he's new.
And he can't do shit about it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It was, I mean, Raw was a bit on the, I don't know, redundant, repetitive, whatever side you want to call it.
Yeah.
You know, it was once again Judgment Day looking like assholes in the main event. I know, what was it, last week? Didn't last week, like, Judgment Day actually got the win in the main event? Was that what happened?
I think so.
Cody talked about,
man, I don't know.
Finn, like, using him as, that's the problem. Like, right? That's the problem, because there's been so many of these, like, Sammy, Cody combinations with other people or not.
It has been. Because, like, I saw on Twitter, I think this morning, that Judgment Day has been the main event segment of every episode of Raw since June.
Oh, wow.
And it all just kind of blends together.
Yeah, it really does. It's not like distinct
about
stuff.
Who has won each match. I mean, I assume more often than not that Judgment Day loses because they lose a lot.
Mm-hmm, yeah, right. Yeah.
Finn especially. Oh,
yeah.
And fell asleep. So I make the assumption that all right, they probably lost.
Mm-hmm.
But I know they had to have won sometimes in there. Otherwise, why would the feud continue?
I think they. Oh, John says Judgment Day lost, but JD beat okay, right. Yeah. Right. Wasn't it like Cody versus Finn last week?
Yeah, that was the main event.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Okay. And then Judgment Day stood tall to end the show because they beat up everybody after JD.
But they still got the loss there.
Clobbered Sammy from behind. Yeah.
Whatever. Let's talk about this. Shinsuke Nakamura. We were all wondering if they would reveal Shinsuke Nakamura warning to Seth Rollins, what he whispered to him. And we found out this week that he was like, Seth Rollins needs a chiropractor. His back is
he's got broken vertebrae. That's far beyond a chiropractor.
He needs one of those body braces.
Body casts, yeah.
Or
at least some time off.
Yeah, so he's like, I know about your shitty back, and now you're the targeted. So I thought that was cool. We talked about this a little bit in the pre-show. It's a very old school sort of thing they're doing, which you're just bad guy, and he's going to target, I know your weakness now. And so it just sort of makes Seth into a pretty, he's like, oh, that's his underdog. He's the underdog because this dude's got an advantage on him.
Yeah.
And he's willing to take advantage of that advantage.
This is really well done. It was really well put together, well produced.
It was awesome.
And as you mentioned, it is a common old trope in the world of wrestling, but it's one that was executed in a way that felt fresh.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's interesting though, because I think Seth, we talked about it here on the show within the last few weeks, mentioned in an interview that he was dealing with a lot of ailments, injuries.
I remember that too when Shinsuke was talking about this. I'm like, well, yeah, maybe Seth wasn't freaked out. He was just confused because he was like, that's not a secret. Why'd you whisper that to me?
Yeah,
like I talked about that. He was trying to think, didn't I say that in an interview recently? Who was it with? Was it Van Vliet? Who was it? I forget. Or was it here on the show? I forget. But my back is, and then Kinshasa.
And then bang, Kinshasa. Yeah, it was just confusing. Like, this isn't privileged information you have here, Shin.
Right. You're not saying anything. I didn't, maybe Shin thought he had like inside sources. Somebody was just quoting an interview from Chris Van Vliet.
Could be.
Yeah. It's going to be a good match, though. It's going to be a really good match.
It is.
And like you said, the presentation on this was awesome. Shinsuke dropping these promos in his language is fucking phenomenal. It's really great.
It's great. It's fantastic. Yeah. It's really good. It's really good.
And
also really good.
The punctuation on it. Seth, watch your back.
Watch your back. I know.
Oh, that's good.
The double meaning of all that's great.
Oh, the impulsive interview. That's what it was.
Ah, that's what it was.
It's like one of the most watched podcast interview shows.
Yeah.
It's not even like a WWE thing getting like 100,000 views. Get like 2 million probably.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently Nakamura listened to it as well. Also awesome on the show is Gable Steves. It's not Gable Stevenson. Gosh, Gable.
What?
I say Gable Stevenson. Nothing awesome about it. Especially his last match. All right. Chad Gable versus Gunther. Chad Gable. I just have Gable written here in the notes. That's why.
It rolls up. Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
Chad hands Gunther his first WWE loss via countout. So it was somewhat reminiscent of Lex Luger beating Yokozuna. Mm-hmm. However, unlike that situation, Gunther has been on a long winning streak. He hasn't been pinned or submitted since coming up to the main roster.
Yeah.
He's been the Intercontinental Champion for like a year and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's impressive when he takes any sort of loss, even a count-out loss. Unlike Yokozuna, who had just been beaten by Hogan the WrestleMania previous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When Luger beat him by count-out. Anyways, really fun match. It gives them an opportunity, if they choose to do so, to put Chad Gable in another Intercontinental title match and have him be the one to beat Gunther after Gunther breaks Honky Tonk Man's record. If they want to do that.
Okay, let's talk about that. Do you think this was a matter of, this is like one of several things. Either they're gauging the crowd response to see how are people going to react to Gable being the guy that beats Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be a number, it could be any of these things. It could be a combination of these things. Yeah. Or is it, we really like Gable. We want to keep this title on Gunther in perpetuity until there's another guy that we want to make. But in the meantime, we want Gable to get as close as anybody's gotten to getting that title off him. And that'll include a count-out win and then a really hard-fought loss to Gunther, like next. And then maybe they could explore, although I don't know like what the justification would be. It's wrestling. You can write it. A third match, if they actually do want to do it after the record is broken in, I think, September.
Yeah, so I think it's like 15 days away or something like that.
Okay.
Middle of September.
So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think they think that Gable could be the guy, or is this just like, hey, let's build up Gable as much as we can, but he's not going to get the title, but we're going to do everything we can, including a kind of an important thing, which is a count-out victory. It's the first victory over Gunther anybody's had in 18 months, I think they said.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's a groundswell of support for Chad Gable currently.
Chad Gable.
Chad Gable currently.
Chad. We can just call him Chad.
Chad. And I don't know if that's something they want to take advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
And for a while, Chad Gable, especially as a singles wrestler, has been not exactly a winning wrestler.
Right. Yeah.
Probably 50-50 at best as a tag wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Alpha Academy was losing a match for the longest time, it was Chad Gable eating that pin.
Correct, yeah.
So if they want to really solidify the idea that Chad Gable is successful winning singles wrestler, then he has to win matches.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I talked about this on yesterday's show, that if even in defeat, which didn't end up happening, Chad Gable got the win. If he has a really strong showing, that being a catalyst for him going on a winning streak, then coming back around to another match with Gunther, whether it's 3 weeks from now or 3 months from now.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want him to be the one to take the Intercontinental title off him and kind of help make Chad Gable as a singles wrestler, they could do that. But I think doing it without giving him some sort of winning streak in between to build up to it, where it seems like, all right, we got a clash of Titans right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Last night, Chad Gable, even though he beat him in essentially a beat the clock challenge match, still underdog.
Yeah, right.
Now, if he goes on a winning streak and he's like, hey, you mentioned this before. I've taught Otis, I've taught Maxie. Now it's time to take what I've my own teachings and apply them to my own career. And he just goes on absolute tear. And we have that match with him and Gunther, maybe at the Rumble or something.
Yeah, right.
And then it gets to the point where it feels like it's almost inevitable. Yeah, Chad Gable's the guy to beat Gunther.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I wonder what the philosophy would be if it's like, okay, well, he got this great count out win. Clearly he's got the ingredients. And then he takes a loss to Gunther in a really hard fought bout. Will they think, okay, well, that's going to kill whatever momentum he has? But I like the idea. I personally prefer the idea of he loses a hard fought one to Gunther. Gunther says, you're out of the running for this for now. And then Gable does go on where he's beating everything that sort of Gunther is in other wrestlers, like, the size. I know Gunther's not like as round as Bronson Reed, but power, Bronson Reed's got that power. He beats Bronson Reed. He beats other guys who are, I don't know, have power bomb finishers. He beats other guys who have heavy choppers. Yeah. Other heavy choppers, the other guys who are just phenomenal wrestlers or that have like European henchmen, any of that kind of stuff. He's sort of putting it on. I don't know who that would be. I get maybe Sheamus. It would be Sheamus. Hey, Sheamus is the guy who took Gunther to his limit.
To his limit more than anybody else.
If Gable were to specifically call out Sheamus, and because of that, even though they're cross-brand, that's a good reason to go cross-brand and then beat Sheamus and say, now I'm ready. You got the entire – and if he keeps his focus over like 3-4 months or even leading into Mania, if he keeps his focus, I'm doing this for the Intercontinental Championship because I want that.
Yeah.
You put that match on at Mania, and that crowd goes crazy for Chad Gable, and he's made at that point.
You got that right. Yeah, I'd be interested to see if Gable starts to go through all of Gunther's primary feuds since he's been Intercontinental Champion. You mentioned Sheamus, put Drew McIntyre in there.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like Drew's doing much of anything.
Dude, Drew seems so checked out still, and I hope it's a character thing, but I'm starting to think that he just does not like doing this. I'm over wrestling. I'm tired of it. I want to open a pub.
If that's what you want to do, I think he could just quit and do that. But I think he wants to wrestle more. Yeah, just not feuding with the Viking Raiders.
I want to go back to Progress. Why? I would dominate there.
That's true. He would.
True. That's fact.
Never lose.
Would. Yeah. Shit, I had another point. I was going to say something.
I did too until I got sidetracked.
No, the great thing is, like, I just nowadays, my dad just died, so I lost my point. You can be like, my best friend's dad just died, so I lost my point.
Well, sorry. I mean, for me, for the last 6 months, it's like, his long COVID. That was my thing.
Oh, I still use that one. I firmly believe that shit. My brain is fucked up.
Yeah, same here.
I totally have long COVID. That's for sure.
Not the same. We also got a couple matches confirmed. Long suspected. Even one match we knew was going to happen, just know when. Rhea versus Raquel happening at Payback.
Yeah,
this will be really good. It's weird because Rhea's had the title since Mania. This could be her first probably real protracted competitive feud since winning that title.
Yeah, she actually seems scared of Raquel. She thought that she had, she had her at bay, and this is coming up at Payback, and I like that she's selling the magnitude of Raquel, and this should be a really good match, as you stated, or didn't. I don't know. My dad just died. In NXT, they had a killer. He would laugh.
Yeah,
at
it was
that
really
shit.
Good.
They had a killer match, just an absolutely banger match. It was like a last woman standing thing.
Yeah, it was really good.
And so if they even get close to replicating that, then we'll be in for a hell of a match between those two.
Yep. And also Trish versus Becky in a steel cage is happening at Payback.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, upping the stakes with the steel cage, that'll be good. I really hope that Trish sticks around even longer past this, because like she has really found, especially in her promos, she's found the character, and I really like the character.
I do too. It's been a lot of fun. The setup last night for her, putting over Quebec City only to dump on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, like she had the crowd like eating that up.
Oh yeah, that was really good stuff. That was really awesome
good
stuff.
Really good.
Before we kick things off, we got ourselves a new channel member, Tom Kennedy. Kennedy. Thank you for your membership. Mike comes down. Yeah.
You'll be chewing gum while you say it too, right?
Kennedy. Yeah. Also, John Hosey. Re-up for 6 months. Says, using my message to say, we love you, Steve. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
We love you, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you, brother.
Brother Steve.
Brother Steve. So thank you for that. Also, these new channel members, they get to participate along with the patrons at patreon.com/Steven Larson, $5 and up. Not only do they get access to those bonus episodes that we do, not only do they get access to the question threads, but this week begins
massive.
The Week of Champions.
Humongous.
Starts with a W, All In, and it goes through to the next weekend, All Out and Payback from the WWE. And it's a huge predictions challenge.
Massive.
Champ Fear and Loathing's Big Blue title will be on the line, but we got a couple of wild cards, and today I'm going to do that picture of you with the LIJ.
Oh, I found the picture of LIJ for you to use, so I'll send that to you.
Awesome, perfect.
No rush on that.
Okay. So we've got a couple
if I wanted to, but
no, I got it done. Flannelly Dan, the Flannelly Dan man. He is the current Money in the Bank champion, so he can cash in. We got the G1 winner and Larson. He can cash in. So what's going to happen at the week?
Something if Flannelly Dan cashes in and maybe has like a 1 point lead. Well, I'm only I'm 2 points behind Flannelly Dan at that point.
You guys cash in on the cash in?
Yeah, double cash in.
Gosh, wow. That'd be crazy.
That'd be some wild stuff.
That'd be weird, wild stuff.
Something we've never seen happen before.
So if you guys want to get in on that, it's real easy to do so. Patreon.com/Steven Larson, and of course, YouTube channel memberships. Click that join button.
Indeed.
Let me ask you this. This is completely an aside. So, like, my mom is going to the funeral home today to make arrangements and stuff. We're going to have like a memorial service, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you think I'm going to be a Roman speech, a Kendall speech, or a James, what's the brother's name? James, Greg's dad. I forget his name.
Yeah.
James Cromwell speech.
Yeah.
What do you think I'm going to be? Because Roman could not get his shit together.
See, I feel like I would be more of in a situation such as that. I'd be more of Roman. I'd be like, no, it's all good. I'm fine. And then I just completely fall apart day of.
You're like confident walking into it, all cocky, and then you start freaking out and crying up there on stage, and then you ask if we can get his dad out of the casket.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think I'd say Kendall.
I think I'll be a Kendall.
I think it'll be a Kendall.
Yeah. Because I'm totally gonna do that shit.
Yeah.
So I gotta get my public speaking chops in order, so I can kill this thing. Let's see here. We got some super chats. Wheaton Driz says, just want to check in for live stream. Want to send peace and love to Steve and his family. Thank you for holding it down, Larson. Thank you very much, Wheaton. Appreciate that. Big MGM here with the super chat says, sending good vibes. Thank you very much for that. Jay-Z with the super chat. I'm sorry, JC with the chat, super chat, not Jay-Z, not Hova, saying, sending love, Steve. And then Nicholas here is a new channel member, so he can do that shit that I talked about earlier as well. So that's all very, what an episode. That's happening too. No, Kaufman earlier said something fucking hilarious, and I wanted to mention it. That's when I had the COVID brain. Is that Chad Gable's like targeting all these different wrestlers so he can get to Gunther, and he's like, all right, man, I'm going to try to take out Roman Reigns so I can get to the Intercontinental Championship. So he beats Roman just so he can get to the Intercontinental Championship. That'd be amazing.
Title? Nah. Want this one.
He's like, I'll take a non-title fight. It's fine. Easily, dispatches of Roman.
Dispatches of Roman in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Chaos theory. Pin.
Done. Yeah. All right, we should probably get this thing started here.
Yeah, let's get into it. Should open up with we get a Judgment Day video package because they're an absolute mess. And then Sami Zayn comes to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Huge ovation. They're in Quebec City. Both he and Kevin Owens are from the province of Quebec, from the Montreal area.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw something that MythGifts tweeted out about Sami and Kevin Owens. Their friendship really, came to fruition, blossomed when they were making road trips from the Montreal area to Quebec City for wrestling shows.
Yeah, you could tell with that intro that it really meant a lot, for them to be there. And so, he says a bunch of stuff in French, I guess. And then the judge, and then, then he brings out, wait, is that one? No, he didn't bring out Kevin Owens yet. So Judgment Day music, they come out. Yeah. They make their way down the ramp. And then Sammy says, before you do what you're going to do, I have one question. We're here in Quebec, right? And he says, did you really think I would come here, of all places, alone? Crowd
goes crazy.
Yeah, crowd goes crazy. Kevin Owens comes down.
So he comes, the fight brawl breaks out, ends with the Priest eating a stunner. Mm-hmm. So KO and Sammy, they're standing tall. Crowd's going crazy. Sammy gets on the mic, says, Kevin Owens gets on the mic, says, been far too long since I've had a match on Raw. Right here tonight, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, against any two of you. Mm-hmm. And he says, guess what? And they talk some shit in French. Yeah. Crowd goes crazy for that, too.
It'd be awesome, because I don't know what exactly he said in French. It'd be awesome if it was completely vulgar.
I know.
It'd be great.
It would be great.
After that, we said we got blah, 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 blah. Oh, we got New Day versus the McGriddles now is what they're going to be called, I guess.
McGriddles.
Yeah, McGriddles. McGriddles. Sounds like McGriddles.
It does. You say it fast enough, it sounds like McGriddle. Yeah.
Logan Roy did did a lot of McDonald's ads.
Still does.
Dun, 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 dun.
He does. Yeah, he sings a little jingle.
Mm-hmm, yeah. My God, man. Do you ever clean your car? That's my favorite line of his. It's from Zodiac, because they had him hiding down, or he was hiding down in the back of their car.
Yeah.
And homeboy liked animal crackers. My God, man. Do you ever clean your car?
Oh, the best line, though, is, you're not serious people.
You are not. He's in a karaoke. You're not serious people. Oof. That was good stuff. I got to go back and watch him as Hannibal Lecter in, what was that movie? Manhunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was the first Hannibal Lecter on the movies.
Yeah, early Michael Mann movie.
That's right, yeah. So we had New Day versus Drew McIntyre, and then the Viking guys, the Viking Raiders, they show up. And I think, what do they, send Drew into, the ring steps or something?
Yeah, they Eric takes Drew off the apron, takes him out of the match. Riddle can't get the hot tag to him. And so Kofi gets the tag from Xavier Woods, hits Trouble in Paradise on Riddle. Not a surprise. Riddle eats the pins. To get the win afterwards, Viking Raiders hit the ring and just lay out everybody. Eventually, though, Drew gets back in there, hits a spine buster on Ivar, sends him out of the ring. And so Drew ends up standing tall, and Riddle kind of gets back up to his feet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. After that, Jackie's backstage with J.D. McDonough alongside Finn Balor. And she's like, what's up with you guys? And JD is like, she's like, what's up with Judgment Day and you, JD? And he's like, I hope I'm not, pissing him off. Look, Finn's like my older brother. He says, I just want what's best for him. If anything, I hope my friendship with him makes them stronger. And Finn's like, I know what you're doing, Jackie. You're trying to stir the pot, ain't you? He says, last week, Judgment Day laid out Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes because of JD, so I think maybe. And then Rhea and Dom walk up, and Rhea's like, sorry. He's like, not sorry to you, Jackie. Sorry to you, Finn. She says, we have to figure out who's facing Sammy and Kevin tonight. And they start walking off, and McDonough's like, okay, I'll come along. And Rhea's like, no, Judgment Day things. And then Finn's like, yeah, you stay back here, Funko Pop.
Yeah. After that, we had this really awesome Shayna Baszler video package where she was breaking bones and looked like cutscenes from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, this was cool, man. This was neat.
This was super cool.
Yeah.
It's describing, how dangerous she is. It was awesome. So then we see Gable beating Vinci and Gunther defeating Otis last week and earlier in the day. Gunther has a promo. He's standing in front of a white wall, kind of silhouetted against it.
This was cool. I really liked this.
This was really well done. Yeah. It says later. You want to do the Gunther?
Later tonight, the world will witness the glory of the greatest intercontinental heavyweight champion, Der General Gunther. Chad Gable thinks my time is my enemy, but indeed time's my friend. He says, with every day that passes, I keep building my lifelong legacy. And Chad Gable, I respect your accomplishments, but tonight you're not going to make a name for yourself at my expense. The Australian rattlesnake, He says, your little fairy tale story will end tonight. And then shows Gable, that was a mess. It was all over the place. Trauma. Gable's backstage.
Production of this was good because it started silhouette, walked forward, and then he was,
Oh, it was awesome. It was so good. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, Big old freaking close up on him, my 85-inch screen TV.
Oh, that's great. He's trying not to laugh at the end of it.
Yeah, I know. So Gable's backstage with
to keep a straight face.
Yeah, he's got to think of something sad. Gable's backstage with Otis and Maxine as Byron's asking for some final comments. And Otis says, "May I say something, Coach? At my lowest point in my career, you made the academy and we became tag champions. Oh, yeah. But tonight's about you and your chance for gold." Maxine says, "I never would have thought I'd ever be a singles competitor until you showed me the way. Chad's been working for 10 years for this. And while many of you think this ogre is unbeatable, if anybody can do the impossible, it's Chad Gable." And Gable says, "Wow, you're going to make me blush. I guess there's only one thing left to say." And Otis gives him a kiss on the ear and he says, "Thank you."
Thank you.
Yeah.
He comes to the ring, and then we get that match next. Chad Gable versus Gunther. It was fantastic, and I feel like if and when they have their pay-per-view match, they're going to up the ante way above this.
Yeah, and this was awesome. This was
ending sequence was so good.
Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Yeah, this was great.
So down towards the finish, Gable's heading up top for a moonsault, and Gunther pushes him to the outside. So Gunther fights with Gable on the floor, breaks the count, comes back out to the floor, and then chops the hell out of him, starts screaming at him, "This is my ring."
Mm-hmm.
So then at this point, Gable has his back to the ring post. Gunther looks for a chop. Gable gets out of the way, so Gunther chops the ring post. Ow.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
Gable pushes him into the ring post and then German suplexes him over the barricade to the timekeeper area. By this point, the ref is like 8.5.
Yeah.
So Gable sprints to get into the ring to beat the 10 count. He wins by count out.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And it wasn't quite a Lex Luger situation because he didn't have Otis or Maxine or any of the other baby faces from the locker room come out and hoist him up on their shoulders. There's no confetti or balloons.
None of that.
But, you understood the magnitude of what just happened despite not winning the title.
Cole sold it really well, too.
Yeah.
He gave us the specifics on like, oh, Gunther's been, here for 18 months and nobody's pinned or submitted him or beaten him for that matter. Yeah. I think the only it's only in terms of singles competition, it's just Gable and Ilya, right?
No, Braun Breaker beat him in NXT.
Ew.
Yeah, I think Gunther's
really
last match in NXT. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Well, besides that, was it title unification?
No, because that was Tyler Bate that had the NXT UK title at that point.
I'm all over the place then. Who beat Gunther for the UK title?
Ilya.
That was Ilya.
Yeah,
that's right, because Gunther slapped his back, and that gave Ilya trauma.
Yeah. Did the thing.
Did the switch? Okay.
Nature Fiend said Solo beat him before he left too. There's jobbing Gunther out to everybody in NXT before he came up.
What the heck? Was it before he became Gunther, or was it when he became Gunther, or was he already
probably
Gunther?
Right before?
So if they beat him as Walter, it doesn't count.
Guess not.
Yeah, whatever. I was just thinking about his entire. Boy, yeah, that is lame. It's only Gable. If it was only Gable and Ilya, that'd be cool. But Solo's fine.
Yeah, Solo's great.
Solo's fine.
But yeah, I agree with Braun.
How about that?
They had Braun beat him, but how'd that really help Braun a whole lot?
Not much. Yeah, Braun's an interesting case. I don't know what's going on with that guy.
Yeah.
Anyways, do you follow?
He's got a really. I noticed on the banner on WWE.com now. He's got the real thick.
Is he
bad guy
out? Yeah.
Goatee thing going there.
Yeah. You know what we should do on the Thursday show? The blow off.
Yeah.
We should watch NXT YouTube clips and keep up that way.
Okay.
That'd be fun. Because then we can keep up with the product, not have to watch the show.
Not to watch all 2 hours of it. That's good.
Exactly.
That's
yeah. Get it done 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So after Gunther takes the L, he's pissed. He rips off the top of the announce table, and then Imperium run down and get in Samantha's ear and be like, "Hey, you got to announce that he's still champion." So she does that.
Yeah, that was good.
Champ.
Yeah. Every once in a while, WWE on their social on Instagram, they'll post reels of just her doing ring announcing.
Oh yeah, shutting the camera on her. Yeah.
One of them a couple of weeks ago. She looks like she's having so much fun watching the finishes to these matches because she's like oohing and awing and stuff, and then she looks over at whoever is official, says, "Okay, go ahead and make the announcement."
Yeah,
and then it's so much fun. It's just like pure joy to watch her work. It's amazing, and she has like a weird brown attaché case thing. It's like a weird leather trapper keeper.
They did one last night after Raw for this match, Gable winning, and I assume she doesn't know the finishes because when Gable won McKenna, she did this.
Yeah.
And then did the announcement that he was the winner. And I was
Isn't
like,
that great?
That's really good. That's really good.
It's so much fun to watch her. It's so hilarious. So anyways, after that, the Judgment Day is backstage. They're all just hanging out in their like purple lit area. And they talk about, okay, what's the combo going to be? This is great stuff because like you're always curious, how do they decide? Mm-hmm. And Finn's like, I told you, I think the team really should be me and Dom. Finn trying to cut out Priest. Priest says, to be fair, you'd make a fantastic team. But seeing as Dom is NXT North American champion and I'm Senor Money in the Bank, it makes sense that we might be a better team. Finn's like, what's that supposed to mean? And Priest says, Dom, what do you think? And he's like, I think both you guys are amazing. Mommy, what do you think? which is great. Just so great. So Rhea says, I thought you guys buried this hatchet. And Priest's like, we did. And Finn's like, yeah, we did. And she says, we're not doing this again. I have my own business to take care of with Candace, so it won't be me in the match. Figure it out before Dom and I get back, or I'll make the decision for you. And it was like, oh, man, she is the fucking best.
Yeah, she is.
Just laying it down. By the way, we just got 5 gifted memberships right here on the YouTube, courtesy of Christian Lopez. Thank you so much for your generosity. We appreciate it. Now they can all participate in the predictions challenge.
Exactly. We see Cody chatting with Byron Saxton backstage. We go to commercial. We come back, and Gunther's just chewing out Imperium. He's not happy. Speaking in German, he walks off, and Kaiser says, I'll make this right, and turns to Vinci and says, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And then leaves him just standing there looking like an asshole.
Like, what the fuck? Why? Where's my guy that I can yell at then?
I know.
This is a pecking order. Can we get on another guy here maybe? That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Rude.
So then we get a Cody interview. He's asked about getting beat down last week. Cody says, Finn sat at me like a piece of furniture, and what's with JD?
Like a piece of furniture.
That was pretty great. That big head on that little body, he's looking like a Funko Pop. Byron, sorry, this setting, because they're backstage. Mm-hmm. Sorry, this setting isn't working. Let's take a walk. I'll introduce you to some friends. So they walk through the backstage area, through gorilla position, and go out to the ramp.
He's such a politician, that Cody.
Oh, he really is. So he says, Quebec, what do you want to talk about? But he says it in French. And Byron asks, well, what do you want to talk about, Cody? And Cody says, first of all, I want to look down the ramp and welcome new commentators from Monday Night Raw. Wade Barrett, Michael Cole. It's like JBL and Cole show reunion.
It's pretty funny.
He says, we saw last week Judgment Day wants to be the biggest force in sports entertainment. What do they have? The numbers game. And I respect that. But if there was one place on the map where the numbers don't matter, where the odds weren't in their favor, it's down the road from where Sammy and Kevin Owens grew up. I want Judgment Day to hear you, talking to the crowd. Will you be in the corner of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn? He really is a politician.
It's a stump speech, man. It totally is.
He's going to leave the arena, get back on his train
to
the next town.
Yeah,
do the stump beat speech from the back of the train. So he continues.
The train.
Says there's no love lost between Judgment Day and I, but tonight is about Sammy and Kevin. We're going to see Judgment Day rise, then fall.
Yep.
Back on the train.
You back on the train. After that, we had a Shinsuke Nakamura video package. We talked about this, and this is what he had to say. He says, everybody asked me what I whispered to Seth Rollins. What could I have possibly said to fill him with fear? He says, Seth is a man who acts like he has it all, prosperous, charismatic, a champion. But I know Seth, and I know his weaknesses. I whispered to him, I know about your back. He says, Seth's back has been broken for many years. He lives in pain, and this pain creates a void in him that nothing can fill. No matter how successful he is, he's still in pain. When he hugs his wife, he's in pain. When he picks up his child, he's in pain. He's a world champion, and every day of his life is filled with pain. Now his worst fears are coming true. He knows that I could break him once and for all. He says, Seth and I aren't so different. Well, I have a void too. We live by a code that others do not. In fact, that code is displayed on his back, and it shows the tattoo on Seth's back. He says, the very same back that is failing to hold him together, just like he is failing to live by that code. His body is crumbled under the pressure of his own vanity. Are you satisfied, Seth, with what you've done in your life? Are you satisfied? I will not be satisfied until I take this burden from you once and for all. Hey, Seth, watch your back.
So good.
Really so good stuff. Yeah.
And I like how Nakamura used Seth's back injury to add dimension to Seth's character even.
Yeah, I know.
It's not just, hey, you have a proverbial Achilles heel that I'm going to exploit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a lot of what you're doing now is a front to cover up from the pain you're in constantly.
You're overcompensating. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
No, it's really good stuff. Yeah.
It was announced earlier yesterday, and it was confirmed on Raw that's John Cena. It's going to be on the September 1st SmackDown. Hopefully we get a John Cena LA Knight segment. Yes, please.
I would love that. I would love it. I just wish, man, because LA Knight as a good guy is not the same as LA Knight as a bad guy.
No.
There is an element now of like dimension, which I'll be honest with you. I know we've talked about this a lot. I kind of prefer one-dimensional LA Knight.
I do 1,000%. I don't want dimension.
I think it's special. I really think it's special. And I feel like that LA Knight, because here's the thing, they're good guys, so LA Knight's not going to be in a promo off against Cena if they do get them in the ring together.
Yeah.
They're going to be dumping on The Miz.
Probably.
Together.
Which could be fun, too. But I mean, if
it'll be fun.
Them kind of, with little jabs at each other, only for The Miz to get involved and them just utterly dumping on Miz. LA Knight's line about The Miz last night on commentary, actually, I had to pause watching Raw and laugh. The Biff Tannen bit.
Yeah. No,
I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, that is good. When we get 80s references from LA Knight because he's old.
Oh yeah.
But no, I don't know. My only thing is I really hope that Cena gives LA Knight the old, raising the hand, pointing at him thing that he gave to Cody, because that Cody one was like an entire segment. Them just standing on the ramp. Cena hugged him like 3 times and kept on raising his hand endlessly, like, "Hey, everybody, he is the real deal."
In case this isn't clear, he's the next guy.
Yep. He's the next guy. He's basically.
I'm on my way out. He's the new Cena here.
Right. So it's
Cody Rhodes. I'm going to hug him again, raise his arm again, just to make it clear.
Just to make it completely unambiguous.
There's still ambiguity. We'll do it one more time. Hug.
Anybody in here not clear? You're on your phone. Pay attention.
Get off your phone. Pay attention.
Yeah.
Torch being patched to this guy, Cody Rhodes.
Like, I don't necessarily need all that for LA Knight, but I do want some acknowledgement from John Cena that LA Knight is the greatest thing.
What should happen is do that, and then LA Knight still hits John Cena with a BFT because the crowd would love that.
Oh, dude, crowd, and then they start chanting "Billionaire Finger Trap."
Exactly.
So after that, God, where did that come? Oh, that was ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
So for anybody out there who doesn't know why we call.
Did that video ever go up on Friendo Club?
That might have never even gone up. It's
ever
possible. Because we were putting stuff into ChatGPT for some reason.
It was WrestleMania matches written in the style of various authors. I think it was that one.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
That's right. And I don't know if we ever put up, probably not. But ChatGPT, when talking about LA Knight, referred to his finisher as, because what is it? It's the
blunt force trauma.
Blunt force trauma, BFT. They called it for some reason the billionaire finger trap, which is an infinitely amazing.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's great. Anyways, Rhea Ripley completely destroyed Candice LeRae afterwards.
That was impressive when Rhea had Candice in the reverse cloverleaf and was holding her up with one arm.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great.
So Candice taps to that. Raquel's music hits as Rhea and Dom are making their way up the ramp, and they're just making fun of her limping up the ramp, because Raquel has a crutch because she got a bad knee. Well, then Raquel takes that crutch and throws it at Rhea, hits her with a running boot. They get into a brawl ringside, and then it goes into the ring. Raquel hits a fall-away slam on Rhea. Rhea rolls to the floor, and Raquel says, "Don't go anywhere. As today, I'm medically cleared. Don't worry. I already spoke to Pierce. It's Rhea versus Raquel at Payback. I'm going to take that WWE Women's World Championship."
Yeah. I thought that was a pretty effective segment there too, because Rhea really sold it. Now I'm sad because Jonathan Walker in our YouTube chat says, I thought its real name was the Billionaire Finger Trap. Now I'm sad.
Well, it's canon here on Going in Raw.
It's what we call it. It's how we, yeah, exactly. So for our audience, that's what it is.
Exactly. Did you notice when Indy was out there with Candice's entrance? Did you notice what they did? They did the no-look high five.
Oh, they did the no-look high five. Okay, there you go. Oh, that's awesome. That's cool.
So maybe we're getting, although Ciampa later on, actually kind of the next segment, making reference to DIY. So who knows? Are we getting the way back? Are we getting DIY back?
Ooh, the DIY.
Could be.
Yeah. Joe the Meme Maker here in Twitch chat says, wait, you're telling me that Billionaire Finger Trap is a Going in Raw exclusive? I thought it was the name of the finish in NXT.
Well, it makes sense. He was fighting for the $1 million title.
I know, that's true.
Kaufman says the do it your way, but that's just Burger King.
The do it your way. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong thing.
At BK, oh, it's
have it your way.
You rule.
You rule. So after that, we have Ciampa backstage. He says, it's been 9 weeks since my return to Monday Night Raw. A long time to reflect on the man I became. I'm the man who saw Chad Gable, celebrating with his son. And while I take nothing away from him, I want to be the one getting an Intercontinental Championship match against GUNTHER. He says, I was this close, but I was the man who lost to Shinsuke Nakamura, and now he's challenging for the world title. He says, when I came back, I wanted to be the guy. And well, he is on main event, as the guy there. He says, I've been him before. I know that pressure, and it's like oxygen, and I'm dying to take a breath. He says, I'm going to be the change I want to see. Do it yourself. He says, and I'm not here to play games. I'm here to take over the game. He tosses a chair and then storms off. So
whose game is it? Tommaso Ciampa.
Tommaso Ciampa. Yeah.
Tommaso Ciampa.
Tommaso Ciampa. Yeah, 5 syllables there.
That's too many.
Yeah.
Has to be 3.
Tom Ciampa.
Tom Ciampa. There we
How about Tom Champion?
Okay.
It's got to change his name too.
Champion. That might be too many.
Then Miz has a mic. He says, Maurice is from Montreal. She never come to Quebec City.
He was trying to laugh after saying that, though.
Yeah, he was, yeah. He says, last week, LA Knight lost an opportunity. He lost a match to earn a U.S. title match. He says, everybody's blaming me, but what LA Knight doesn't realize is on the big stage, there's no room for excuses. Things happen. Champions know that. In the main event, The Rock messed with my match against John Cena. I was still able to retain because that's what champions do. He says, I'm not a trend. Trends come and go. I've evolved, and in 20 years, you've seen me as a game changer, a trendsetter, 2-time Grand Slam champion, I guess, WrestleMania main eventer. He says, 20 years from now, you'll remember LA Knight as a blip on the radar, a human fidget spinner, the hoobastank of WWE. LA Knight's not on my level. To prove it, I talked to Adam Pearce, and he allowed me to pick an opponent. So I picked someone bigger, faster, stronger, more dominant than anyone LA Knight's ever faced. Ladies and gentlemen, my opponent, and then it's Tozawa.
Yeah.
And so Tozawa grabs a mic. Miz says, he says, Tozawa, you're a former 24-7 champion, and it's a shame it doesn't exist now because it's the perfect title for LA Knight. A watered-down throwback to the Attitude Era, just like him. But it's not about him. It's about you and your success. This is the biggest match of your career. So Tozawa starts a roll where he starts going, yeah. And he says, I thought you had more to say. All you ever do is, and then Tozawa says, yeah. He says, I'd appreciate if you didn't say that and let me finish. I don't like when you say it. Tozawa says, yeah. And then they get into a really/yeah battle. And then Miz is like, you think this is funny? I'm giving you an opportunity of a lifetime. And Tozawa says, yeah. But then Miz boots him. They have a match. And then LA Knight comes out. And, oh, man, huge pop.
Massive pop. Massive pop. And then LA Knight, after he refers to Miz as being what you get if Biff Tannen banged a frog and pushed him down the stairs. Gosh darn it.
Yeah. What does that even mean?
I don't know.
It's kind of great.
It is. So Miz, he's so distracted by LA Knight during the match. He's looking for a skull-crushing finale, but then Tozawa escapes that, rolls him up to get the win. He didn't chase after LA Knight like Knight did to him on SmackDown.
Right.
Distracted
yeah.
enough to take that L. A bit of a tangent here because Joe the Meme Maker just is here in chat. Says, Friendos, I'm going to All In. Jericho just announced he's doing his own entrance for Judas at Wembley. Free Fozzy concert.
That's cool.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, I dig that. That's cool.
Although Joe says, as a person that's seen Fozzy, I feel bad for the 80,000 fans now.
Okay, but it's just going to be the one song.
Yeah.
I kind of dig that. I think that's pretty neat.
I guess the thing is, like, when it comes to the chorus, the crowd's to be doing all the singing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, so after that, so Tozawa gets the LA Knight's like, yeah, go celebrate. Okay. You did it. Good job. So then Knight gets in the ring, hits a billionaire finger trap on The Miz, and then he came ringside with some tissues because he says The Miz is always crying, so he threw the tissues.
That's pretty funny,
Hit him with the BFT. Then we're backstage. Drew and Riddle are talking. Riddle's trying to convince Drew to stay a tag team. And Drew says, "You're going to listen for a second. I appreciate your enthusiasm. You've seen what's happened with me the last few years with the drama, and now these Viking Raiders. I don't think it's going to work out with us." And then Riddle's like, "Oh, come on. New Day walk up. And Woods says, Did you not hear the crowd out there? Don't go so fast. You've got a good thing going." And Kofi says, "You showed us something out there tonight. You got some potential." And both members of the New Day agree. And Woods says, "Matter of fact, we got a new name for you. Mick Riddle."
Yeah. Drew seemed to underwhelmed McDonald's jokes. Yeah, they start making McDonald's jokes. Riddle's like, "Oh, I'm loving it." And then Drew says, "Oh, yeah, you can't get enough of it." And then Woods is like, "Look, I know you have your issues with the Viking Raiders, but we're against them next week. After we're done with them, I think we should do this again." And Kofi's like, "Thanks for having our back out there. Pound it." So the New Day and Drew, the Drew Day, they bump fists, and then Riddle comes in, and he places his hand on top and says, "Paper covers rock." And then Drew says, "That was a nice moment you just ruined." And then they're like, "Yeah, how could you do that?" It was pretty funny. Riddle's like, "What?"
Yeah.
What? Oh, don't be like that. What?
Then Becky's music hits. She comes to the ring drop promo. Before we see that, we got Priest with Rhea and Dom backstage. Rhea asks him if he figured out who's going to team against Kevin and Sammy, and Priest says, "Nope, I tried talking to Finn, but he won't listen to me. He doesn't trust me." And he goes to talk to his boy JD, and Rhea says, "Well, I don't think you trust him either." And Priest says, "Do you blame me?" Fine, that's how it's going to be. I gave you a chance, but now we're going to do it my way. And she walks off, and then Dom talks to Priest in Spanish a little bit.
Says, "Mommy's mad." And he gives this great look on his face.
It was good.
It's those little things, It's those little things that it's just like, man, that's why you do this kind of stuff, Yeah. After that, we've got Becky Lynch coming out. She says the man's come around to Quebec City. She says the man has Trish Stratus in a steel cage at Payback. Over the last few brutal months, there's been talk about who's the best, and there's been talk about legacy. She says, what do you want that to be? What are you in control of? How can you take lemons and make a lemonade? With my giant lemonade shirt. She says, I've come to realize...
Did do this opening scene from Almost Famous.
Give me lemons.
Give me the lemonade.
Yeah.
You hand me lemons, I give you lemonade.
Give me lemonade. And then she says, I've come to realize my legacy is not defined by wins, losses, or championships, but survival. You can beat me, put me on the shelf, break my bones, but always come back. Not because I'm unbeatable, because I'm unstoppable. I'm unstoppable because I always win, but I always win because I always fight. She says, which brings me back to Trish. Now, her and I are going to a steel cage match, but there's still some business with Zoe Stark, so I talked to Adam Pearce. Trish and Zoe come out. And then, so she runs down. Well, actually, she starts talking up Quebec. She says, we've had to be south of our beautiful country dealing with those U.S. a-holes. So it's nice to be back here in my home country of Canada. Then she gets a couple of thank you, Trish chants. Mm-hmm. She says, now I should be saying merci beaucoup, Quebec. She says, I can't tell you what it means to be here in my home country, to be in Quebec City, because it means absolutely nothing. This isn't Montreal. You're not even Toronto. At least the Leafs made the playoffs. And so they're like, boo.
Yeah.
She says, how fickle we are. I wouldn't even be out here if this sourpuss didn't come out and complain. I'd be like Trudeau and split, because he split from his wife recently.
Yeah.
She says, I don't, and they start chanting something rude to her in French. She says, I don't even understand what you're saying. She says, Lynch, I got good news and bad news. Good news is when I beat you, I'm going to prove I'm the greatest of all time. This generation and mine. She says, bad news is you managed to trap me in a steel cage. I've never fought in a steel cage before. Am I scared? Yeah. But was I scared at 24 years old when I was thrown into a ring with no experience, which is totally true. Like, I think she had a couple of practice rounds with Jazz,
Jacqueline.
I think. Oh, Jacqueline. Yeah, Jacqueline. So she says, was I scared to be the first woman to main event Raw? She's like, yeah, but I killed it. My entire career I've been thrown into the fire and I shined. If you want to shove me in a cage, I'll stand tall. You want to talk about survival and legacy? Here I am 23 years after standing face to face with one of the best in the business. I once again have to prove myself to you and everyone here. I'm tired of having to prove myself. When I step into that cage, you're going to see a side of me that you've never seen. And if I were you, I'd be scared. You're not going to survive this one, bitch. And then Becky says, "Oh, I'm so scared. I was saying something about Zoe. You're right. So Trish, in 2 weeks, it's us in a cage, but next week, Zoe, it's the opposite. Next week, Falls Count Anywhere match. Welcome to the big time." It was good stuff. I liked it. I think, like I said, Trish has really found like the sweet spot with this character of hers.
Yeah, I think so too. Then we see a recap last week of Chelsea, Piper, and the tag title situation. So then we get Chelsea and Piper. They're backstage. Byron walks up to him. Chelsea says, "Whatever you're going to say, Brian, it's not important. Let's talk about me. I had to authorize WWE management to allow us to be the tag champions after Sonya's injury. Now we're going to show them what we've got because this chemistry is off the charts." Piper's not into it. She says, "This interview is over." And repeats, "Did I stutter?" When Chelsea looks at her and they make their way out before they have their match. We get this Piper Niven video package showcasing her immense skills in the ring. And then we get the match, Piper and Chelsea taking on Caden Carter and Katana Chance. They're really hyping up what a powerhouse Piper was in this video package, and that played out during the bout.
Yeah, and once again, Carter and Chance hit some crazy freaking weird move.
That was nuts.
Wasn't it cool?
It was like Chance did a handstand on Carter's shoulders, and then Carter turned so she could do a splash. That was wild.
No, it was super creative. They're such a fun tag team. I hope they eventually on main roster get their due, you know? So anyways, Piper blind tags in Carter with a... wait, what is this? Piper blind tags in as Carter hits a thrust kick to Niven and takes out Green. They go for their double team move. The ref acknowledges the tag and doesn't count the pin. And then Piper throws Carter over the announce table. She rolls in, hits a running seated crossbody, a fun splash on Katana Chance to get the win. So she's really the dominant one here, of course. And she picks up Chelsea, puts her on her shoulders, and carries her partner there to the back. But yeah, it was really cool.
It was a lot of fun. And then we get an interview with Seth Rollins. And he says, "Jackie, they've been waiting all night. Can we give them a second to let them sing?" So the crowd sings his theme song while he's dancing around backstage listening. He says, "All right, I presume you're going to ask me about my back." Jackie says yes. And Seth says, "Nakamura caught me off guard last week when he brought up my back because the truth is it's something I don't talk about publicly." "But you did, Seth." "But if we're open here, I do have 2 fractures in my lumbar spine. I've lived with it for over 4 years. It doesn't get better by itself. It gets worse. And I don't know how much longer I can do this at the level I'm running at. You know what? That's a part of the gig. And it's a part of the gig that Nakamura wants to bring up my injuries and take cheap shots. It's even a part of the gig when he questions my character. But if Nakamura wants to bring my family into it, my wife and my daughter, my livelihood, then he better be prepared to face me man to man." He's getting like more angry as this goes on. "But you aren't. Are you, shit? Not even here tonight. You're in a TV studio 1,000 miles away, too scared to face me. Next week, I'll give you one more chance to play your games. Prove you're a true warrior. I'll reiterate what I said to you last week. I'm not a hard guy to find. I'll be in the center of the ring, dressed to the nines, world title around my waist with the whole world singing my song."
Yeah, it was good. It was good stuff.
Yeah,
I like when
it was good.
He gets all like serious and like sort of out of character. I think it's really good.
We get some recaps from the Intercontinental title match earlier, and then we get what we thought was going to be our main event, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn taking on Finn Balor, Damian Priest.
The Judgment Day's entrance was so good because Priest comes out, and then you see Rhea, and she's like dragging Seth. He's like, Finn. She's like, he's like, "I don't want to tag with this guy." She's like, "Get it together. It's you guys together." And so Priest hands Rhea the briefcase, and him and Finn reluctantly sort of, pound fists, and they go run, and we get a big brawl to kick things off.
Yeah.
And then what is this? JD McDonough sort of appears out of nowhere and throws the briefcase into the ring, but Kevin Owens intercepts it, hits Finn, and so there's a DQ.
Yeah.
So technically Judgment Day win there. So Kevin Owens arguing with the ref. Priest takes out Owens from behind. Priest screams at JD as Sammy takes him out from behind. Dom attacks Sammy. Now it's 3-on-2. And then Cody comes down. There's only one Royal. So he's got his weight belt. He goes after everybody. And Cody's like, no, we're not ending Raw like that. There's still a lot of time left. He's like, there's 3 of us and 3 of you.
There's like 20 minutes left on Raw. Of course, not ending Raw like that.
You're not ending Raw like that. And then he's like, let's go now. And Adam Pearce is like, yeah, we still have 20 minutes to fill. So we had our main event.
So match. 6-man tag match.
Yeah.
No Judgment Day win here.
Nope.
Briefcase didn't really come into play, though. It was just Dom eating everybody's finish at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Cody hits him first he hits Finn with the crossroads when he's trying to interfere. Then he hits Dom with one. And so Dom kind of stumbles back into Judgment Day's corner. But at that point, Finn and Priest are out of the match. So Cody sees that he's in position for a haluva kick, tags in Sammy. Sammy hits that. Then Sammy tags in Kevin Owens, pushes Dom into a stunner. So KO gets the cover and the win. Afterwards, they're celebrating in the ring. And then Sammy gets on the mic and says, Hey. Judgment Day. Better luck next time. Hey, buds. And then he speaks some more to the crowd in French. And, thanks the crowd. And Raw goes off the air.
Yup. You want to answer some questions?
Let's answer some questions. Before we do that, I'll take this opportunity to remind those viewing here on the YouTube that if they could, please hit that like button. This one looks like a thumbs up. You hit that. It's good.
It's
good things happen.
It's good things. Good things happen.
Subscribe. Notify bell. If you like what you hear.
Yeah.
Here.
The Blind Mask says, we've talked about the best dream commentary lineup. Oh, wow. Here we go. What would be the worst 3-man commentary team?
Ooh.
Mark Madden would be one of them.
Yeah, Mark Madden. Adnan.
Oh, Adnan. Oh, gosh. Adnan, Mark Madden.
Remember when Marvez was on commentary for a little bit? Was not good at it. I like him a lot as an interviewer. I think it's a lot of Al Scoops is fun, but as a commentator, it was not a good fit.
No, dude. I'll put it this way. I think Marvez probably would have been good with time. I think it would have been good over time. I will say this, though. I think we're onto something, and I'm so glad that they brought this up. Kevin Patrick. For me, it would be Kevin Patrick. It would be Mark Madden, and it would be Adnan. Oh, my God. That would be bad. Stinky.
A lot of people here in chat are mentioning heel Michael Cole.
Oh, man. Heel Michael Cole.
So bad.
I'm trying to think who I'd take out. Heel Michael Cole or Adnan. Because heel Michael Cole was unbearable.
Imagine if it's heel Michael Cole in there with Mark Madden. Ugh.
Oh, God.
And then Adnan trying to orchestrate something out of that mess.
Oh, that's so bad. That is really bad.
Blake here asks, why should we care about any of this Judgment Day stuff at this point?
Oh, because their
chemistry is still really good.
And I want to know where it's going to go. I know there were like rumors that they want Priest to split from Judgment Day. Yeah. But because I think they're all wildly entertaining. And it bums me out that they're always,
Who was the comedian that started on Raw when that first started?
Oh, man. Yeah,
Rob Bartlett? Yeah. Is that his name?
Rob Bartlett. That was awful. Dude, I think you're onto something there. Rob Bartlett, heel Cole. And then
Mark Madden.
I guess Mark Madden, but I think I like the idea of Adnan doing play-by-play.
Yeah.
And then you've got heel Cole and you've got Rob Bartlett trying to crack jokes. Oof. That sounds horrible because you're not even getting real play-by-play.
No, you're not.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Wow. Oh, look at that crazy maneuver where a guy thrust his foot and leg at another man's head. A kick?
Yes. Like the episode of The Simpsons where Homer's learning a bunch of new vocabulary so you forget what a spoon's called.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's that metal thing you use to dig.
Oh, my God. He just threw his hand at that guy. You mean he punched him? It was a hand throw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. Wow to move. Wow to move? What does that mean? Wow to move. Deep Voice Dude says, did Vince Russo ever do commentary? I don't think so.
I don't think so. What was his name? Vic Venom? And he was writing for the magazine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if
he
did
came up
commentary
with that name too.
Vic
Venom, bro.
WCW, I'm sure, but full time, I don't think so.
Yeah. Ace Shock says, what would be your commentary style?
Ours? Mine?
Yeah, ours. Yeah, if you and I were a two-man team.
I mean, it'd be try to make each other laugh on commentary. That would be our commentary style.
Yeah, probably. I would let you deal with like play-by-play, like you, because you know the moves much better than I do. Yeah. I'm much more like but I think I'm even better than Adnan Virk. Yeah, I'd be like a combination of. This is a good point. I'd be a combination of Rob Bartlett and Adnan, because I don't really know like a lot of the moves, but then I'll also tell a bunch of really crappy jokes. You know, I've got bad impersonations, and
Oh, that sounds great.
All my style, all my references are from the '90s.
That's good. I just made a Simpsons reference. It's probably from 1996, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. It'll be current events from the '90s, like Rob Bartlett.
Exactly.
Hey, what's in the news, in the headlines today? You know, bring that up. And the guy's like doing, oh man, look, here's my B. Arthur impersonation or whatever impersonation.
Oh, there we go.
Doing. He did like an entire match impersonating somebody, and I forget who it was. I don't know. He did like an entire match like impersonating Rush Limbaugh or some shit like that.
That sounds dreadful.
Yeah, I forget what it was. It was horrible.
Disc Golf and Goon says, with rumors of Damian Priest being kicked out of Judgment Day, how would you book it? Oh, it'd be JD. JD would lead to it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, the idea of like JD replacing Priest when like clearly him and Rhea are pretty close friends, and Dom. Yeah, I mean, it'd just be like, you know, sad Judgment Day because it's like JD really instead of Priest.
It really would be.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like I'd prefer just to be like Finn and JD become a thing, like a real. It's like a Wolfpack Hollywood type thing where they become like just a really violent. They add somebody else, you know, or
you have Judgment Day and Judgment Night.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. Not the movie Judgment Night.
Not the movie or the soundtrack from the movie Judgment Night. Although if you want to use one of the songs off the soundtrack for their theme, I wouldn't argue with you.
You do this. You put Finn, JD.
White Brownie says Lyra Valkyria since he trained them.
I still don't know what she looks like. You do Finn, JD, Gallus together.
That's good.
Would that work? Then you got Joe Coffey. You got white people now. We are green. I don't want white people. We are green. Sometimes we are like green stripes, like a kit, like a football kit. But it's green, or like a rugby kit. Rugby kit.
Oh, uniform. I got you.
Yeah, right. It's a kit. It's a uniform.
Uniform. Alex Foster here says, should WWE wait a little longer than expected for Gunther to drop the belt? This way Gable can be built a bit more. Gunther doesn't lose immediately after breaking the record. Also, much love, Steve. Yes, if the idea is Gable's the one to beat Gunther, put him on a winning streak before he beats Gunther.
Sorry, we're deciding on whether or not to do an autopsy. Okay, don't do it then. Oh, damn, that was pretty pricey. Sorry, this is shit we're dealing with right now.
No, I got you. I understand.
Well, I was telling him, I'm curious. You know, like so much of the brain cancer stuff is like you're just in the dark. You know, you're just in the dark. And so I was like, it was a reasonable price. Like it'd be kind of nice to understand what was going on up there in the old noggin. Yeah. But then they just said it's like $4,000. So I'm like, we don't really need one, I guess. You know. Anyway, sorry, everybody.
JR Jr. here says, just want to send my love to the entire Here family. Alan Fellas says, much love to Steve. Let's see. Cursed Hawks. Remember the good old days of the Attitude, Ruthless Aggression eras where the ending of a WWE show was this big thing where it left the audience wondering what will happen next week and made them excited for the next show. And nowadays, it seems like every Raw, we get the same old stuff week in, week out, the same people. Oh, this is not a question here. It's a comment.
I will agree with the sentiment. I think more
kind of cliffhangers.
More cliffhangers, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Nick Kyle says, is LA Knight feuding with The Miz instead of going after the U.S. title to waste his momentum after winning at SummerSlam? No, because he just said on SmackDown his goal, U.S. title.
Yeah, and he's on all like Momentum. He's on both shows. He's a cross-brand megastar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jonathan Vieira says, will we see any immediate changes after the WWE Endeavor deal completes, or will they keep things the same from a visual perspective?
I think in terms of what we see on television, by and large, it'll be the same. Probably the one thing that'll change, the largest aspect that'll change will be backstage, and there's probably going to be a lot of layoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As they kind of, whatever team they have, or various teams they have in various departments between UFC and WWE, will probably try to conglomerate them, and the end result will be people, unfortunately, probably lose their jobs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
It's pretty typical in these type of things.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Yeah. I'd be really shocked if they did like a wholesale, like, wave of huge releases, given that Triple H's philosophy seems to be more like we need depth,
Yeah.
We need depth.
Unless it's literally a situation where based after the merger, there's a budget and they have to stick to budget. And if
that's a possibility too. Yeah.
But I mean, I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I don't think just as they wouldn't do it just as a matter of course. I think it would have to be like some sort of strict budgetary thing that would lead to that.
I mean, I think unfortunately, like there will be a lot of people, sadly, who lose their jobs. It's just I would be kind of surprised if they would be people that are on camera. But you're right. I mean, if they have a strict talent budget, but then I mean that would might limit them from like signing free agents and stuff unless they're given. Yeah.
I mean, we can see that with the Drew situation where he's not even a free agent yet. But if they're an impasse when it comes to a new deal, not just on the money thing, but on the creative side of thing. I mean, in theory, if Drew is not exactly happy with creative, but you offer him a fat contract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah.
With the idea, well, let's have you re-sign and then we'll get you back into something more interesting. Okay, that's something. But if they're not even offering, a dollar amount that's commensurate with his contributions to the company over the last few years and his status within the company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they think I have to come up with some really good creative stuff then for him to want to stick around.
Yeah. CKY Halo says, if you're building a mid-card, I was a CKY guy back in the day. If you're building a mid-card feud for WrestleMania, who would you book it for and how? Mid-card feud.
Well, I mean, technically, LA Knight's the mid-card right now.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I mean, John Cena's in the mid-card. Do LA Knight versus John Cena.
Oof. As long as LA Knight gets to go back to being a bad guy, it'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. Carlos Diaz says, is the logical next step for Balor and McDonough to win tag gold so everyone in Judgment Day has gold but Priest? The next logical step would have been for Finn Balor to win that World Heavyweight Championship, but I guess not.
Yeah. No, I agree. Edward Munoz here says, much love, Steve. Been watching you guys for like 15 years, and God willing, I want to stick with you guys for 15 more. My question is, since you guys have been doing a stellar job with your unique and original star ratings, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Have you guys ever considered having your own Hall of Fame? We, in fact, do have our own Hall of Fame, the Going In Raw Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
What would your worst of, best of categories, and would QT Marshall sweep the worst ofs?
Ooh, worst wrestler of the year, QT Marshall.
Maybe.
Could be. Go away Heat wrestler of the year.
The wrestler we'd prefer not to see in our televisions.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's good.
So he's not a bad wrestler.
No, he's not. No, he's a solid wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
But like he just takes too much time. He's got a job backstage as part of the creative brain trust. So stick to that. We don't need to see you on TV. No. You're
that actually depends on his creative contributions, though. His creative contributions.
That's a good point as well. Yeah, if his creative contributions are literally just QTV,
then. DJ Fluffy says here, if WWE ever put actual pay-per-view events into the WWE Hall of Fame, what are some pay-per-views you'd personally want inducted? Mania 1 an obvious answer. Mania 3.
Mania 3. I would put Mania 31 in there because we were there for it.
We were there.
And it was actually a pretty decent Mania.
Yeah, it was solid.
A pretty good Mania.
Survivor Series 98.
Great one.
Yeah.
For
King of the Ring 98.
King of the Ring 98. That's good. If they put promos in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Tear in My Eye, Austin 3:16.
Pipe Bomb. One where Samoa Joe backs Heyman down to the corner.
Yeah. The one where Samoa Joe called Brock Lesnar simple. The one where Samoa Joe's in a bar roasting fucking Jeff Hardy. The one where he showed up on Raw and roasted Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, and everybody else in the ring. Just have a whole Samoa Joe wing out of the promo Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, a non-mic'd promo Hall of Fame.
The Roman Drew McIntyre contract signing.
Well, Jonathan here says Shawn Michaels just mouthing "Sorry, I love you" to Ric Flair. Yeah. That's a good one. A winded promo Hall of Fame.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, when Samoa Joe went outside AJ Styles' house, looking for Wendy.
Yeah.
Oh God! How do you drop the ball on Samoa Joe? We just listed 5 fucking amazing promo bits with him, and he's like a top class wrestler. How do you do that?
It boggles the mind, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, Deep Voice Dude says Drew McIntyre telling Ricochet to shut up.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, I didn't come here to talk. Then shut up. You just see his fucking soul leave his body when he said that.
I know.
Oh man.
My gosh.
Oh, Shane McMahon promo. Winded promo Hall of Fame. It's I don't know. I'm trying to cut a promo. My lungs are filled with fluid.
You have an allergy attack out there, Shane.
Take some Zantax or whatever that shit's called.
Take some Zyrtec.
Some Zyrtec. That's what it is. I just combined several.
Be wise, all take Zysol, Shane.
Oh man!
Oh my gosh!
He just take a big whiff of some fucking pollen before he came out.
I know. It's like, hey, come and give me some smelling salt, and you wake up. And then he closes his eyes, so it has a whole dozen roses under his face. Oh.
I did how about when Shane called? Remember when Shane had a Braun Strowman promo where he just called him stupid?
Yeah, that was weeks of that.
He said,
Braun.
Oh, sometimes I laugh so hard I have to take my earplug out because it freaking starts popping my ears. Oh my God!
You'll start wheezing
so
like Shane if you keep laughing like that, Steve.
Oh, that was so funny. The program where he called Braun Strowman stupid. This is what should go in the Hall of Fame. The image of NWO Rowan and Rowan, real Rowan and Daniel Bryan.
Oh gosh,
man!
Talk about cliffhangers.
Yeah,
you have more ends of seals like that. They're just head scratching, confusing, and never referenced again.
Von Wagner's sunglasses promo. Hey.
What's your name,
man. Joe? Yeah. Von Wagner's Joe Blow promo.
Oh
my God! All right. Well, that laugh fest is a great way to go out today. Once again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks everybody for just being with us, for being around, and all the well wishes and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, it's moments like this that make what I've dealt with over the past 48 hours it's the reason we do this. And thanks everybody for everything. And till next time, we'll see you around.
Goodbye.